What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm coming at you guys today because we're going to be taking a look at a very social deck profile. And while this deck profile itself is still in development, because I haven't really had much time to sit down like I would like to about it, I built the deck specifically meant to interact with the Harpie Lady Sisters. And I remember a couple of weeks ago, I said I wanted to do a special video. Just a deck built around the Harpie Lady Sisters as tending to be the main focus. That isn't easy in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because there are a lot of issues. As we all know, there isn't any Harpie support the focus on just specifically the Harpie Lady Sisters. There's bits and pieces, yes, but there's always that issue of not making the Harpie Lady Sisters the focus. I did want to build a Rush Duel version, no, a Speed Duels version of it, because I think that would actually be more adequate. But then that also had problems. And I was like, you know what, I'll just build the regular deck profile and it'll just be a test run. So maybe in the future when we get more Harpie Lady Sisters specific cards like we did years ago and years and years before then, like with Triangle Ecstasy Spark and then Perfumer Oracle and them coming out as well. Maybe we'll get some synergy there. Rush Duel has the better idea, not only making the Harpie Lady Sisters a maximum card, but then also being able to make a fusion monster and then dedicated fusion monsters to that. Now, I'm just going to also, before I go into the deck profile, state that I am actually looking at some Harpie Lady Sister. Like, there's a website I found through another YouTuber that he used to get his structure decks for Rush Duel. And because all the Harpie cards have been printed in Rush Duel except for the new fusion monster for Celio, I might just pick up maybe one or two and go from there. But that'll probably be at a later time, at a later date. But for right now, let's focus on the Harpie Lady Sisters as they are right now. So, with this deck profile, I did my best, I will say that. But I'm going to get into the deck itself, and then I'll talk about everything else in addition to it. So, I have 3 copies of Harpie Channeler. Then she is followed by 3 copies of Harpie Perfumer. Then she's followed by 3 copies of Harpie Lady 1. 2 copies of Harpie Oracle. Then that's featured with 2 copies of Harpie Lady Sisters. Then 2 copies of Harpie's Pet Dragon, Fierce on Fire. And 2 copies of Harpie Harpist, with the last cards being 2 copies of Ash Blossom in Joyous Spring. So that is all of my monsters. Going into my spells are 3 copies of Hysteric Sign and 3 copies of Elegant Egotist. 1 Harpie's Feather Rest, 1 Harpie's Feather Duster, 1 Harpie's Hunting Ground, and 1 Triangle Ecstasy Spark. To round it out, I'm running 2 copies of Forbidden Droplet. From there, I have the trap cards, and it's simply 3 copies of Infinity Impermanence, 3 copies of Harpie's Featherstorm, 2 copies of Hysteric Party, and 1 copy of Harpie Lady Elegance. So that is it for the main deck. That is a total of 40 cards. Then for the extra, 2 copies of Cyber / Harpie Lady, 1 copy of Harpie Conductor, 1 copy of Harpie's Pet Dragon, Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon, 1 Winnie, 1 IP Masquerena, 1 SP Little Knight, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Access Code Talker, 1 Lightning Chidori, 1 Icy Zero Fine, 1 Photon Strike Bouncer, 1 Force Focus, 1 Ray Raptor Arsenal Falcon, and 1 Divine Arsenal Double Aces Sky Thunder. So that is literally it for all the cards in the main and the extra. Extra is a total of 15. Main deck is a total of 40. So why don't I go ahead and get through it? And I'm actually going to go ahead and start off with the extra deck because those tend to be the easier ones to go through. But always end up being at the end of the video. So the 2 Cyber / Harpie Ladies are, of course, for the sequential option of being the boss monster for the archetype, bouncing cards on the field, whether they're a harpy or another monster. When a spell trap targets a card on the field and activates. Then we have Harpie Conductor, another target for being a Harpie Lady. Being able to protect your Harpie monsters from being destroyed by battle or card effect by sending the spell trap control to the grave. Works out well with cards like Hysteric Sign and Alluring Mirror Split. Then we have Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon as an option of defense and making sure that your Harpies are being protected for when being destroyed by battle or by card effect. No, by battle or being targeted by your opponent's card effect. Generic Win Link monster in the form of Winnie, and if your opponent's trained Joan Lockbird, that'll just help you link climb. IP Masquerena to go into Link monsters during your opponent's turn. SP Little Knight for the removal. Unicorn for the bounce. Access Code Talker for the push into the game. Chidori for removal. 0-5 for negation. We have the rank 6 monster, Photon Strike Bouncer, for its on-field negation, as well as for Focus for its on-field negation. Then we have Raygraptor Arsenal Falcon to pull out more Wingy Beasts from the deck, and just when all else fails, go into Zeus to wipe the board. Now, the major thing about this is the 4 Focus and the Strike Bouncer, because they're both rank 6 monsters, and if you can get the 2 Harpie Lady Sisters on the board, you can easily exceed into them and then be able to utilize their ability. Now, with all of that out of the way, let's go into the main deck, which I'm sure many of you have questions about. So while this deck is supposed to be centric about Harpie Lady Sisters, I didn't want to make it too unplayable, although I am running enough bricks that most people would cringe at it, and I'm sure many of them are. But the overall idea was to focus on Harpie Lady Sisters. To focus on Harpie Lady Sisters, I had to break down a lot of utility cards around it. So there's no Cyber Shield because it's just too old to be used. No Phoenix Formation because that clashes out the battle phase. And while it's a good way of removal, it's only removal if you have more cards than your opponent. But you still have to have at least 2 to 3 Harpie Ladies and or Sisters on the board. So with its stipulations, I had to X that out. Alluring Mirror Split wouldn't have been a bad choice to put in here, but like I said, I had a lot of other additional things that I wanted to run into the deck. And like I said, it's still a deck being built in progress. Now, in addition to that, I think 2 of the main key points to this are Harpie Oracle and Harpie Perfumer, simply because these are the monsters who search out for cards that specifically list Harpie Lady Sisters in their attacks. While Oracle gets it from the graveyard, Harpie Perfumer gets it from the deck itself. And while you control a level 5 or higher Harpie monster, that allows you to add an additional card. Now, do remember when Legendary Duelist Pack for Sisters of Rose came out, there was still a lot of people craving for the Harpie Lady Sisters to have their own retrain. And we still have not gotten that retrain for the TCG or OCG. And Rush Duel definitely did get the better of the retrains because they got they got not only a fusion monster but a max monster, an attachment to them. While we're still kind of on the hopes and dreams of everything that the game is still giving us for TCG and OCG. Now from there, my choices were to try to run 3 Oracle. I was going to X out the Dragon, but then I also realized that Dragon can actually be very useful for the Sisters because of their low level and setup. So it was a lot of things that I was considering, but there was also a lot of things I just didn't want to drop out at the current time because I could have easily, took those cards out and then focus on something different. But unfortunately, I did not. But like I said, it'll be a focus of things for later on. Now, outside of that, we do have, of course, the others that I run in 3 of. That is Harpie Lady 1 and Harpie Channeler. Harpie Lady 1 for the additional attack boost that she gives for all wind monsters. And Harpie Channeler, who allows you to discard a card from your hand to summon a Harpie monster from your deck at defense, except for a copy for yourself. Now, unfortunately, since Harpie Channeler, sorry, because myself is off. Harpie Channeler cannot go get Harpie Lady Sisters, because Sisters has to be normal or social summon, cannot be normal, summon, or set, and it has to first be social summoned by the effects of Elegant Egotist. So because of that whole situation, well, Chandler will still be rare because she can get predominantly all the other Harpies that will help you bring out more utility and more material, like going to get Harpie Perfumer, going to get Harpie Oracle, recycling cards from the grave, recycling cards, getting cards out of the deck. So that's definitely why I did not lower on her. And of course, she's one of Harpie's best staples. Why do you not do that? Then we have, of course, Harpie's Pet Dragon, Fearsome Fire, and the copies of Harpie Harpist. I was debating on not running the Harpie Harpist and running Triple Sisters, but then I didn't want any more bricks in the deck than I already had. Now, Harpie's whole shtick is that she's going to go get Perfumer, Oracle, or Harpie Channeler from the deck and add them to your hand as a way to get your other pieces into your hand and also sustain some more names onto the board. So when you play your Elegant Egotist and stuff, you'll have someone risk. Most likely, she's just going to be here for the discard target. I'm not even going to lie. For Harpie Channeler, so that she can get Oracle and Perfumer. She can also be an easy discard target for Harpie's Pet Dragon Fearsome Fire, who's going to use its ability to basically make sure that when your Harpies are on the field, they're protected. But also, if this card is sent to the grave, from the field to the grave, he's going to send a Harpie card from the deck to the grave. And most logical sense. From there, the only other thing left in the monsters for the main is the Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs, and that's simply for negation. Alright, from there, let's go on into the spells. And this is where the spells and traps are really where I had the hard part, because there were so many different things that I wanted to add to it. Now, as we all know, these are the spells and traps that specifically list Harpie Lady Sisters. The spells that specifically list Harpie Lady Sisters in its text. So, Hunting Ground, Feather Rest, Ecstasy Spark, and Elegant Egotist are what Harpie Perfumer and Harpie Oracle have access to. I could easily put Alluring Mirror Split in here as another added option. And of course, Harpie Lady Elegance is also here. So, that's tons of targets. As we all know, Feather Rest is Pot of Avarice for the deck, Hunting Ground, Spot Removal for back row, and Ecstasy Spark to negate the activation of trap cards, any trap cards that are currently in the field, and jump the Harpie Lady Sisters' original attack from 1950 to 2700. So major boost for the sisters while also keeping some things together in the lineup. Now, one of the other benefits to this is that they're all recyclable by Harpie Oracle. So even if I end up losing them, Oracle can bring them back. Now from there, let's go into Hysteric Sign, which I still think is one of the best support cards for Harpies when it comes to the spells and traps. I did not want to leave that out of this deck at all. I wanted to make sure that this card was still here, and it's technically the only way you can get the Harpie Lady Sisters. There are a couple of spells and traps that will ignore the summoning conditions, but they have extremely large amount of conditions as well, and I believe 2 of them are trap cards. So from there, the only other cards left to really talk about are, of course, the Elegant Egotist, which allows us to get Harpie Lady or Sisters from the deck onto the board. And then from there, we have, scooting over, Forbidden Droplets, and just in case your Harpie Lady Sisters, the yawns, in case your Harpie Lady Sisters just so happen to not really be something you want in your hand, or on the field, you can easily just go for droplets and then start helping with the negation and cutting points in half. From there, we have the trap cards. We have, of course, because I'm not writing Veiler, Infinity Impermanence. Great card to have on your first turn to start messing up your opponent's combos. Harpie's Featherstorm for the negation it gives. Hysteric Party, bringing the other Harpies onto the board and then being able to use them for material or abilities to then go help you get the sisters. And speaking of sisters, the one copy of Harpie Lady Elegance, which I threw in here because it's one of the two cards that can at least utilize the Harpie Lady Sisters. Not only for the swarm factor that the Harpies have in the deck, but also being able to function in a strategy with the Harpie Lady Sisters. Basically treating them as three. The only downfall is that you have to have a Harpie already in the grave to even trigger this card so that you can at least bring the other two out. Otherwise, blowing it up so that you can have a search card for your other Harpie cards. And why is it not in multiples? For the same reason why most other cards aren't. You don't want to draw into it too often, and even then, it's like one of those things where it's only utilized for the unique ability. But like I said, this deck is still a work in progress. It's a gem going through. It's rough till it is a perfect cut. And I will be doing some more ideas and strategies later. But I think at that point, if I do decide, because I already made a decision, I do want to buy the rest of the stuff. It's just when will it come? How long will I have to wait for it? And all of that. And I'll definitely get back to you guys on that. But for right now, that is the wrap up for the Harpie Lady Sisters deck. It's still a work in progress. It still's got a couple of roughs I'll be dealing with. And overall, I'll have some suggestions and stuff I know for other combination cards that will be in the comment section below to try to help thin out a more proper or more easily set up Harpie Lady Sisters deck. So with that said and done, thanks everyone for watching. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel as it helps out tremendously. Notification bell, hit on it so you guys can be informed of when I upload more content. And if there is an issue, let me know. Socials are in the description box below. And with that said in turn, thanks everyone for watching. HPJ signing out. Take care.